Well, back when I first got out of college, I was working in an accounting firm trying to get my CPA, and I had a friend who just out of the blue said, "Hey, you ever thought about working in credit unions?" And then Bruce Ingram, Wabash County, he bought the branch here in Wabash, and he said, "Why don't you come work for us?" And he didn't have to ask twice. I worked with Bruce for many, many years. I pretty much owe my career to Bruce, and I was very fortunate to work for him. He was a very classy and very moral, upstanding individual, and he ran our credit union like nobody's business, if you will. He served the members, and he's the one that taught me how to serve the membership and not worry about financials, because we do believe wholeheartedly, and I do, if you serve the members properly, your financial statements will be fine. So we're not into profit, we're into service. Well, originally, back in 1931, Beacon was founded by a group of farmers and a preacher. So our foundation is in agriculture, and they basically put us together, and if you remember, that would have been back in the Depression, late 30s, or early 30s, late Depression, and they needed somebody to give them financial products and services, and the banks wouldn't do it at that time. So they formed their own credit union, and there for many, many years, you had to be a farmer to even be on our board, and that's been one thing that has helped our credit union throughout the years, is we have always stayed true to those values and those core beliefs, and it has absolutely guided us and helped us through in serving our members and our communities. And that is something that we have always strived for, my predecessor and then myself, and I'm sure going forward the rest of them will keep that going also. We participated with an industrial ag lending company specializing in agricultural lending. And they were out of Rushville, Indiana. And we probably had about a 15-year relationship with them. And they were a non-depository, so they just made loans. And they would either have to sell them off, and that's where we came in, because we started purchasing some of these loans and working with them and providing the money for them to make their loans. So we had a long-standing relationship with them, probably started in like 99, 2000, and they decided, they were privately owned, and they decided they were gonna sell. And we're like, okay, we don't know how we're gonna do this, but we've gotta make this work. It changed the footprint for Beacon, because at that time we were more north central, northeast Indiana, and that put us, their home office was down in Rushville and Seymour. So that put us down in the, I'll say, the southern part of the state, and that's been a wonderful move. I've been on the ASI board now for several years, and it's a joy and an honor. It's all over the country, and the board members that I work with are from different states where ASI is allowed to have insurance. And so it's great people. The biggest thing is we have to be advocates for private insurance. And you know, we have went through some situations where I'm not sure that some of the other insurers would have stuck with some credit unions like we have. Especially when we went through the Sand States debacle. We infused capital into some of these places to keep them afloat, and I don't believe a lot of insurers would have done that. We've just been very passionate about the children, and Indiana is very, very fortunate and very lucky to have Riley. Our membership or our employees have come directly involved with Riley, and we just felt as a group, as employees, that it was something that we could all get behind and that we could participate in. It's one of the biggest projects we work on. One of the pictures you have is me kissing a pig. And I don't know anything about pigs, okay? So we had our ag lender, and he's like, okay. He says, have you ever dealt with pigs? And I said, no. And he's standing there, and I noticed that he had the pig by the back legs upside down. And the pig was just there, like it was frozen. And I'm like, and he says, as long as I hold this pig upside down, we have no problems. He says, the minute I set this pig upright, he's gonna go nuts. And he says, so you gotta kiss him quick. He wasn't wrong. He was not wrong. So he's sitting there and we're kind of rocking it, and all of a sudden he flips him up and I plant one on his nose, and I mean, that pig started kicking and squealing and hollering. The Project Spotlight is something that the credit union, we instituted, I'm going to say 20 years ago. And it got into, we decided that we would let our membership pick and choose some of the nonprofits that we donated money to. And so we would get them to vote through our website, and the top 3 in each community were awarded a grant or monies, if you will. I'm a firm believer in the fact that the communities need to be strong that you're in or serving. If they're not, your branch or center is not going to be strong. And it's for the local communities. And it gives us an opportunity to touch each of those communities. And as I mentioned earlier, I'm a big proponent of kids. Cindy is my wife, and she's probably the reason that part of the reason why I'm getting this award. I owe pretty much everything that I am to her. And she's been a great partner, life partner. I'm very humbled. I am very lucky and very fortunate. When I look at the list and my peers who are in there or who are going to be in there, I'm not worthy of some of them. I truly am not. I hold them in such high regards, and they should be. And I'm just very, very fortunate and very thankful and very appreciative that I was even considered, let alone to have won the award. Continue to serve your members. Figure out what you need to do to serve them, and don't let any outside entities try to tell you what you should or shouldn't do. Do what you know in your heart you need to do for your membership, and everything will take care of itself after that.